The man in the black hoodie walked calmly through the crowded subway station. People rushed past him without looking twice. A mother held her little boy's hand. A tired worker drank coffee. Teenagers laughed near the stairs. Nobody knew a killer was standing right beside them. Detective Ryan Carter stared at the giant CCTV screen inside the police control room. His eyes were red from being awake all night. The room was silent except for the sound of keyboards clicking and police radios buzzing. "Zoom in," Ryan said quietly. The camera followed the hooded man moving through the station. He looked relaxed. Too relaxed. Officer Mia Torres leaned closer to the screen. "We lost him 3 times already," she whispered. "If he gets on that train, he's gone." Ryan nodded slowly. The killer had already fooled the police for 2 weeks. He left no fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses. Every time detectives got close, he vanished like smoke. But tonight felt different. The hooded man stopped near a vending machine and turned slightly toward the camera. Ryan froze. "There," he said suddenly. "Pause it." The screen stopped. Mia frowned. "What are you seeing?" Ryan pointed at the reflection on the vending machine glass. It was tiny, barely visible. But in the reflection, the hooded man's face could finally be seen. And Ryan recognized him. His heart slammed against his chest. "No way," Ryan whispered. At that exact moment, alarms exploded inside the station. People started screaming. The killer had pulled a gun. And then the CCTV feed suddenly went black. 3 weeks earlier, the town of Ashwood looked peaceful. It was one of those quiet American towns where people waved at neighbors and kids rode bikes until sunset. Nothing terrible ever seemed to happen there. That changed on a rainy Thursday night. Emily Harper worked the late shift at Rosewood Diner near the highway. She was 26 years old, kind, funny, and loved by almost everyone in town. She always smiled at customers, even rude ones. At 11:40 p.m., Emily locked the diner doors and walked to her car alone. She never made it home. The next morning, a jogger found her body near Pine Lake Park. The entire town went into shock. Police cars filled the streets. News reporters crowded the sidewalks. Parents held their children closer. Nobody understood who could do something so horrible. Detective Ryan Carter arrived at the crime scene before sunrise. He had worked murder cases before, but this one felt wrong the moment he stepped out of his car. Too clean. Too planned. There were no signs of struggle. No fingerprints nearby. No murder weapon. It was as if the killer had prepared every second carefully. Ryan crouched near the muddy ground while officers searched the area. "What do we know?" he asked. Officer Mia Torres handed him a notebook. "Victim is Emily Harper. Wallet untouched. Phone missing. Witnesses saw a dark SUV near the diner around midnight." Ryan looked toward the trees surrounding the park. Rain dripped from the branches. Everything felt cold and empty. "Any cameras nearby?" he asked. "Only traffic cameras near Highway 16, Mia replied. "But the storm knocked some out." Ryan sighed. Back at the station, the investigation moved slowly. Detectives questioned customers from the diner, checked phone records, and searched nearby roads. But every lead disappeared. Days passed. Fear spread through Ashwood. People stopped going out at night. Stores closed earlier. Gun shops sold out of weapons. Parents waited outside schools to pick up their children. Then another attack happened. Late Saturday evening, a gas station clerk named Daniel Brooks was found badly injured behind his store. He survived, but barely. Ryan visited him in the hospital. Daniel's face was pale, and his hands shook badly. "Did you see who attacked you?" Ryan asked gently. Daniel swallowed hard. "No, he wore a hoodie. Black gloves too." "Did he say anything?" Daniel hesitated. Then his eyes widened with fear. "He whispered something before leaving," Daniel said quietly. Ryan leaned closer. "What did he say?" Daniel's voice cracked. "He said, 'You should have kept the cameras running.'" Ryan and Mia exchanged worried looks immediately. Cameras. The killer cared about cameras. Later that night, Ryan returned to the gas station alone. Rainwater still covered the parking lot. Yellow police tape moved in the cold wind. He walked inside and stared at the broken security monitor near the counter. The killer had smashed it completely. Ryan's stomach tightened. Why destroy the cameras unless they captured something important? Suddenly, his phone rang. It was Mia. Her voice sounded panicked. "Ryan, you need to come back now." "What happened?" "We found footage from a traffic camera near the diner the night Emily died." Ryan hurried to his car. "What's on it?" he asked. There was silence for 2 seconds. Then Mia spoke in a trembling voice. "The SUV from that night just appeared again. And this time," she whispered, "someone was tied up in the back seat." Ryan slammed the police car door and raced into the station. His shoes squeaked against the wet floor as he hurried toward the surveillance room. Officers moved around quickly, talking loudly into radios. The whole building felt tense. Mia stood beside the big screen waiting for him. Her face looked pale. "Show me," Ryan said. Mia pressed play. The traffic camera footage appeared. A dark SUV drove through a red light near the edge of town. The video was blurry because of the rain, but Ryan could still make out a shape moving in the back seat. A person. Their hands looked tied behind them. Ryan leaned closer to the screen. "Can you zoom in?" Mia tried, but the image became grainy. "License plate?" Ryan asked. "Can't read it," Mia replied. "But we tracked the SUV heading toward Blackwood Road." Ryan's jaw tightened. Blackwood Road led to old cabins and abandoned farmland outside Ashwood. Most people avoided the area, especially at night. "Get officers out there now," Ryan ordered. Within minutes, police cars sped through the dark roads with flashing lights cutting through the rain. Ryan drove with Mia beside him. Neither of them spoke much. The deeper they went into the woods, the quieter everything became. Finally, they spotted the SUV. It sat near an old cabin surrounded by tall trees. Its engine was still running. Ryan grabbed his flashlight and gun carefully. "Stay sharp." Officers surrounded the cabin silently. Rain dripped from the roof while thunder rumbled far away. Ryan slowly opened the SUV's back door. Empty. But ropes lay on the seat. Fresh ropes. Mia looked around nervously. "We're too late." Then they heard it. A scream. Coming from inside the cabin. Ryan kicked the door open. A young woman sat tied to a chair crying hard. Her mouth was covered with tape. The room smelled damp and rotten. Ryan rushed over and untied her quickly. "You're safe now," he said gently. The woman shook uncontrollably. Tears ran down her face. "He was here," she whispered after Mia removed the tape. "He just left." "Did you see his face?" Ryan asked. The woman nodded slowly. "He wore a black hoodie," she said. "But I saw part of his face when he grabbed me." Ryan's heart raced. "What did he look like?" Before she could answer, a loud crash came from upstairs. Everyone froze. Ryan signaled 2 officers and moved toward the staircase carefully. Each step creaked loudly. At the top floor, one bedroom door stood slightly open. Ryan pushed it wider. The room was filled with television screens. CCTV screens. Dozens of them. Every screen showed different parts of Ashwood. Streets. Stores. Parking lots. Schools. Gas stations. The killer had been watching the whole town. Mia stepped beside Ryan in shock. "How is this possible?" Ryan noticed photos hanging on the walls. Pictures of victims. Emily Harper. Daniel Brooks. And others. Some faces were crossed out with red marker. Some were not. Ryan suddenly spotted a photo that made his blood run cold. It was Mia. Someone had taken pictures of her entering the police station earlier that week. Then Ryan found another photo. Himself. Sleeping at home. The killer had been watching the detectives too. Suddenly, one officer shouted from downstairs. "Detective! You need to see this!" Ryan and Mia hurried back down. Outside near the trees, officers had discovered fresh footprints leading deeper into the woods. Ryan followed the flashlight beams carefully. The trail ended near an old storm drain tunnel hidden beneath bushes. The metal door was slightly open. Ryan crouched beside it. The killer escaped through there. Then Ryan noticed something sitting on the ground. A phone. Emily Harper's missing phone. Mia picked it up carefully. Maybe there's something on it. Back at the station, tech experts worked for hours trying to unlock the damaged phone. Finally, just after midnight, the screen lit up. Everyone gathered around. Ryan opened the last video recorded on the phone. At first, the screen was dark and shaky. Emily sounded frightened. "Please, just let me go," she whispered. A man's voice answered calmly. "You saw something you shouldn't have." Then the video briefly captured part of the driver's face in the rearview mirror. Only for 1 second. But it was enough. Ryan stared at the screen in disbelief. He knew that face. The room became silent. Mia looked at him carefully. "Ryan, do you know him?" Ryan swallowed hard. "Yes," he whispered. Before he could explain, every computer screen inside the station suddenly shut off at once. The lights flickered. Then all the CCTV monitors turned back on by themselves. One camera feed appeared on every screen. A live video. Someone wearing a black hoodie stood outside Ryan Carter's house. And Ryan's young daughter was visible in the upstairs bedroom window. "No!" Ryan shouted. He ran out of the station so fast he nearly slipped on the wet pavement. Mia chased after him while officers rushed toward their patrol cars. Ryan's hands shook as he drove through the empty streets of Ashwood. His daughter Lily was home with her babysitter. She was only 8 years old. The killer knew where she lived. The killer had been watching them. Rain hammered the windshield while Ryan sped through red lights. His heart pounded harder with every second. "Call the house," he shouted at Mia. Mia grabbed her phone immediately. "No answer," she said after a moment. "Ryan." Then Ryan's own phone rang. Unknown number. He answered instantly. "If you touch my daughter." A calm voice interrupted him. "You're getting close, detective." Ryan gripped the steering wheel tightly. "Who are you?" The man chuckled softly. "You already know me." Ryan stayed silent. The voice became colder. "You should have stopped looking at the cameras." The call ended. Ryan slammed his fist against the dashboard. Minutes later, police cars surrounded his house with flashing lights. Officers aimed weapons toward the front yard. Ryan jumped out and ran inside. "Lily!" he yelled. No answer. He searched every room wildly until he reached the upstairs bedroom. The window was open. Rain blew through the curtains. But Lily sat safely on the bed crying while the babysitter held her tightly. Ryan rushed forward and hugged his daughter hard. "It's okay," he whispered shakily. "You're okay." Mia entered the room slowly. "Ryan," she said quietly. She pointed toward the wall. Written in black marker were chilling words. "You missed him again." Ryan stared at the message with anger burning inside him. The killer had entered his home and left whenever he wanted. The next morning, the entire police station felt exhausted. Officers drank coffee while studying maps and camera footage. Nobody had slept much. Ryan sat alone in his office staring at the image from Emily's phone. The blurry face in the mirror haunted him, because he recognized it. The man looked exactly like Nathan Cole. Nathan had worked as a security technician in Ashwood for years. He installed CCTV systems in stores, parking lots, and traffic intersections all over town. He literally built the town's camera network. 3 years earlier, Nathan's wife and son died in a terrible car accident caused by a drunk driver. After that, Nathan changed completely. He became quiet and strange. People said he stopped trusting anyone. Ryan remembered talking to him once after the funeral. Nathan had stared at him with empty eyes. "Cameras see everything," he had said quietly. "But nobody watches until it's too late." Ryan suddenly stood up. "Mia!" She hurried into the office. "What is it?" "We need to find Nathan Cole right now." Within an hour, police searched Nathan's house. But the place was empty. Dust covered the furniture. Dirty dishes sat in the sink. Computer wires stretched across the floor. Mia opened a closet and froze. Inside were dozens of hoodies, all black. Ryan searched the garage while officers checked the backyard. Then he noticed something hidden under a tarp. A large monitor, still connected to power. Ryan switched it on carefully. The screen flickered. Then security footage appeared. Live footage. From inside the police station. Everyone stared in horror. Nathan was spying on them in real time. Mia stepped closer to another desk covered in papers. "Ryan, look at this." Pinned across the wall were maps of Ashwood filled with notes and photographs. Red circles marked locations all over town. Gas stations, traffic lights, stores, schools, and one location circled darker than the others. Ashwood Central Subway Station. Ryan frowned. "Why there?" Before anyone answered, a hidden speaker suddenly crackled to life. Nathan's voice filled the garage. "You're smarter than the others, Ryan." Officers immediately searched for the speaker source. Ryan stayed focused. "Nathan, this is over." Nathan laughed softly. "No, it's just beginning." Ryan looked around carefully. "Where are you?" "You'll see me soon," Nathan replied. "The whole town will." Then the speaker went silent. At that exact moment, Mia's phone buzzed loudly. Her face turned pale as she read the message. "What is it?" Ryan asked. Mia slowly lifted the phone. "It's from the subway station," she whispered. Ryan grabbed it quickly. The message came from station security. Multiple CCTV cameras offline. Possible armed subject inside terminal. Ryan's blood ran cold. Nathan was heading somewhere crowded. Somewhere filled with innocent people. Then another message appeared beneath the first one. "This is for everyone who never watched." Police cars screamed through the streets toward Ashwood Central Subway Station. Sirens echoed between buildings while people on sidewalks stopped and stared. Ryan sat in the front seat gripping his radio tightly. "How many people are inside?" he asked. "Over 200, dispatch answered. Morning trains are delayed because of the storm." Ryan cursed under his breath. Nathan had chosen the busiest time possible. When they arrived, panic had already begun. People rushed out of the station crying and pushing each other. Some fell on the wet stairs. Others screamed into their phones. Police officers tried to control the crowd. Ryan grabbed a terrified man near the entrance. "What happened?" "There's a guy with a gun downstairs," the man cried. "He shot the ceiling and started yelling about cameras." Ryan exchanged a grim look with Mia. Nathan wanted attention. That made him even more dangerous. Inside the station, alarms blared loudly. Red emergency lights flashed across the walls. The giant TV screens that normally showed train times now displayed something else. A live CCTV feed. Nathan had hacked the entire station. His voice echoed through the speakers calmly. "You walk past cameras every day," he said. "But nobody sees the truth. Nobody notices evil until blood hits the floor." Passengers huddled together crying while officers guided them toward exits. Ryan whispered to Mia, "Split up. Get civilians out. I'll track Nathan." "Not alone," she replied firmly. Ryan nodded. The two detectives moved carefully through the underground station. Every shadow felt dangerous. Every sound made their hearts race. Then they spotted him. Nathan stood near the tracks wearing his black hoodie and gloves. He held a pistol in one hand while staring up at a security camera above him. For a strange moment, he looked peaceful. Ryan raised his weapon carefully. "Nathan." Nathan slowly turned. His face looked tired, pale, and emotionless. "You finally found me," he said quietly. "Put the gun down." Nathan smiled sadly. "You still don't understand." Mia stepped forward. "People are scared, Nathan. This has to stop." Nathan glanced around at the cameras, watching him from every angle. "I spent years building these systems," he said. "I watched criminals walk free every day while innocent people suffered." Ryan kept his weapon steady. "So you became a killer?" Nathan's eyes darkened. They deserved punishment. You don't get to decide that, Ryan snapped. Nathan suddenly pointed toward the giant CCTV screen nearby. You know why Emily Harper died? He asked calmly. Ryan froze. Nathan pressed a button on a small remote in his hand. The screen changed instantly. Video footage appeared. Emily stood inside Rosewood Diner late at night, cleaning tables. Then another man entered the diner wearing a police uniform. Ryan frowned. The officer's face became visible. Detective Alan Pierce. Mia gasped quietly. Alan Pierce was one of Ashwood's most respected detectives. Nathan spoke softly. Emily saw Pierce accepting money from a drug dealer behind the diner that night. Ryan's stomach twisted. Nathan continued. Pierce panicked when she threatened to report him. He killed her. Mia looked horrified. That's impossible. Nathan shook his head slowly. The cameras saw everything. Ryan stared at the footage carefully. It looked real. Too real. Before Ryan could speak again, gunfire exploded from behind them. Bang! One officer collapsed instantly. Everyone turned. Detective Alan Pierce stood near the stairs holding a gun. Smoke rose from the barrel. Drop your weapons! Pierce shouted wildly. Passengers screamed and ran in every direction. Ryan's eyes widened in disbelief. Alan! Pierce looked terrified. He's lying! Pierce yelled. Nathan edited the footage. Nathan laughed bitterly. You know the problem with cameras, Alan? They never forget. Pierce suddenly fired again. Bullets shattered glass overhead. Nathan ducked behind a pillar while Ryan pulled civilians to safety. Chaos erupted across the station. People cried. Officers shouted. Alarms screamed louder. Then the lights suddenly went out. The entire subway station fell into darkness. Only the CCTV screens still glowed. Ryan could barely see anything. Then one screen flickered back on. A camera showed Nathan running toward the train tunnels. Another screen showed Alan Pierce chasing him with a gun. Mia grabbed Ryan's arm. If Nathan dies, she whispered, we may never know the truth. Ryan nodded grimly. The detectives rushed into the dark tunnel after them. Far ahead, echoing through the darkness, a gunshot rang out. Then came a horrifying scream. Ryan and Mia ran through the dark subway tunnel as fast as they could. Their flashlights bounced wildly across the walls. Water dripped from pipes above them, and the sound of distant trains echoed through the darkness. Then they saw someone lying on the tracks. Nathan. Blood covered his hoodie as he struggled to breathe. Ryan knelt beside him quickly. Where's Pierce? Nathan coughed painfully and pointed deeper into the tunnel. He's running, he whispered. Mia immediately called for officers while Ryan stayed beside Nathan. Why show us the footage? Ryan asked. Nathan stared weakly at the tunnel ceiling. Because nobody believed me before, he said softly. The cameras were the only witnesses. Ryan frowned. You could have gone to the police. Nathan gave a weak laugh. I did. Ryan's face tightened. Pierce buried the evidence, Nathan continued. Every time I tried exposing him, he shut me down. Then Emily saw him that night, and he killed her. Mia looked shaken. Nathan slowly reached into his pocket. Ryan grabbed his wrist carefully, but Nathan only pulled out a small flash drive. All the recordings are here, he whispered. Every crime. Every payment. Every victim. Ryan took the drive carefully. Nathan's breathing became slower. I didn't want innocent people hurt, he said quietly. But after my wife and son died because a drunk driver bribed his way free, I stopped believing justice was real. Ryan stayed silent. Nathan looked toward the glowing CCTV camera above the tunnel entrance. They see everything, he whispered one last time. Then his eyes closed. Footsteps thundered nearby. Pierce was escaping. Ryan stood immediately. Stay with Nathan, he told Mia. Then he sprinted deeper into the tunnel. Far ahead, Pierce climbed onto a maintenance platform leading toward the next station exit. He looked desperate now, sweating heavily while clutching the gun. Pierce! Ryan shouted. Pierce spun around wildly. Stay back. Ryan slowed carefully. It's over. No. Pierce yelled. You don't understand. I worked 20 years for this town. You murdered Emily. Pierce shook his head frantically. She was going to ruin everything. Ryan kept moving closer. You took bribes, he said coldly. You let criminals walk free. Pierce's hands trembled badly now. It started small, he admitted. Just extra money. Then bigger deals came. I couldn't stop. Ryan's jaw tightened. And when Emily saw you? Pierce lowered his head for 1 second. That silence was answer enough. Suddenly, loud train horns echoed through the tunnel. Ryan's eyes widened. A train was coming. Pierce looked behind him in panic. The narrow platform shook violently as headlights appeared in the darkness. Drop the gun, Ryan shouted. Pierce looked trapped. Then, in pure desperation, he aimed the weapon at Ryan one last time. Bang! Ryan ducked as the bullet struck the wall. At that exact moment, the speeding train burst into the tunnel. Pierce tried to jump away, but slipped. Ryan reached for him instinctively. Too late. The train roared past with deafening force. When it finally stopped farther down the tracks, Pierce was gone. Silence filled the tunnel except for Ryan's heavy breathing. Hours later, the sun slowly rose over Ashwood. Police cars still surrounded the subway station while reporters crowded nearby streets. News spread quickly across town. Detective Alan Pierce had been exposed as Emily Harper's killer. The flash drive Nathan gave Ryan contained years of hidden crimes, secret payments, and corrupted police records. Several criminals were arrested within days. Ashwood finally learned the horrifying truth. A week later, Ryan visited Pine Lake Park alone. Flowers covered the place where Emily's body had been found. People from all over town had come to pay respects. Ryan stood quietly beside the lake. Mia walked up beside him holding 2 coffees. You okay? She asked softly. Ryan nodded slowly. Just thinking. About Nathan. Ryan stared across the water. Nathan became a monster, he said quietly. But somewhere along the way, he thought he was fighting monsters too. Mia sighed sadly. The CCTV revealed the truth in the end. Ryan nodded. Yes, he said. But it almost came too late. As they turned to leave, Ryan's phone buzzed. A message from dispatch. He glanced at it casually at first, then stopped walking. What is it? Mia asked. Ryan stared at the screen silently. The message read, Unknown user just accessed Ashwood City cameras. And beneath it, only 4 chilling words appeared. I'm still watching.